are able to go to other schools that are succeeding. Choice, better teachers, and putting parents in control rather than teachers' unions is, in my view, the priority that we have to have in education. Thank you. Yes, sir. Now, you're in the middle. I should figure that that's going to be hard to get a microphone to you. Hi. Well, you just hand it to him. That's fine.
Thank you.
He'll give it back.
Welcome. First of all, I have a Mitt Romney bobblehead that you have signed. Thank you. I also donated so that I can have pizza with you. So I just want to put my name, Todd Murdoch from North Liberty. I want pizza.
Me too.
Yeah, with you. And Ann, you can come along also. Just an immigration question, if I could, please. It seems like this is tied into economy also. You've been very strong about the federal government, and it's their role to enforce our borders. We need to be a sovereign nation. Do you have a plan, though? Because over decades, we've given implied approval for illegal immigrants to come here and enjoy America. Do you have a plan on the part 2 of immigration? How can we kindly, because I believe there's immigrants here illegally that are honest, they're trying to work, they're doing right things. There's those people out there. Do you have a plan that could assist or help them in their need rather than just rounding everybody up and taking them carte blanche, which I think is just as wrong as amnesty? So,
yeah, my view is the people who have come here illegally should not be treated with favoritism in becoming permanent residents or citizens of the United States relative to those who've waited in line patiently in their home countries. So that's the principle. That's the principle. And for those that have come here illegally, they might have a transition time to allow them to set their affairs in order and then go back home and get in line with everybody else. And if they get in line and they apply to become a citizen or get a green card, they'll be treated like everybody else. They start at the back of the line, not at the front of the line. I just think we're not going to go across the country and round people up. It's just too big of a task. There are, what, 11, 12, 15 million, who knows the total number. But what we are going to do is that we're going to give people a chance to transition, to be able to go home, to get in line, and then to ultimately, if they would like to, have a green card or be able to come into this country legally. That, in my view, is the course that we're going to have to take. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Back to Social Security, Governor.
Back to Social Security. Yes, sir.
Given the fact that
There's a microphone.
Given the fact that the payroll tax is the primary source of revenue for the payment of benefits to current recipients like myself, is it prudent to be extending and even expanding the payroll tax holiday at this time?
Yeah, good question. I just don't like raising taxes on anybody right now. But and this particular extension of the payroll tax isn't going to get the economy going again. We need a more fundamental restructuring of our economy to get people back to work. But I just don't like raising taxes right now. And this burden is going to have to be picked up by the general fund. Ultimately, we have a responsibility to meet the obligations of our Social Security system, and we will do so. The right course for America is for us to improve our tax system in the ways I've described already, and then do the 7 things I think you have to do to get the American economy going again. And by the way, I find it extraordinary that we have a president that has a very big agenda about transforming America, but it does not include any plan for making our economy stronger. I just don't understand how you can have a president in office for 3 years with 26 million people out of work or stopped looking for work or in part-time work, underemployed, and you have a president that all he wants to do is talk about a payroll tax Band-Aid. I'm not looking to raise the taxes, but that Band-Aid is not going to fix America. We need something more substantial to get our economy going. And the seven things, I won't take long with this because the 7 sounds like a long number, or a big number, but just to take them off. Number 1, we need employer tax rates in this country to be competitive with other countries. Right now we're the highest in the world. That means businesses will go elsewhere. We need regulations and regulators attuned to the needs of industry and economic growth as opposed to burdening industry and economic growth. Number 3, we need trade policies that open markets for more American goods. This company sells 30% of its product overseas. We need more markets we can sell countries into, products into. And we need to crack down on cheaters, like China, that haven't followed the policies of fair trade. Number 4, we need to have an energy policy that allows America to invest in energy in our own country rather than buying it from other places. Number 5, we need to have the rule of law. By that I mean we don't need to have the government tell Boeing they can't build a factory in a non-union state. Number six, we as this gentleman said, we have to have institutions that build great human capital. We're a capitalist system. But capitalism is not just about money capital or physical capital, it's also about human capital. That means schools, institutions of higher learning, and immigration policies that welcome the best and brightest into our country. And finally, we need a government that doesn't spend more money than it takes in. And you can't... You're not going to have entrepreneurs, individuals risk their life saving to start a business like John's grandfather did, like this one. They're not going to risk their life savings if they think America is going to hit a grease-like wall. And so we're going to hit a grease-like wall unless we have a president willing to cut back the massive spending of the federal government. And I will do that. I will cut the federal budget. I will cap how much the federal government spends, and I will fight for a balanced budget amendment. We have to keep America strong, and those things will allow America's economy to reboot. Thank you.
I'm an 86-year-old retired farmer, teacher, businessman, and sales representative for Diamond V Mills. And I'll tell you, Diamond V Mills is the best company anybody could ever work for. I want to thank you for your courage to stand up for what's right. My question is, what do you plan to do to stop this evil of abortion in this country?
As you know, there are some policies that are affected at the governmental level other than the courts. There are things done by the courts, then there are things done by people who are elected. When I was governor of my state, a piece of legislation came to my desk saying we were going to change the definition of when life began. It said in the past that life began at conception, but the new legislation wanted to change that. I vetoed that. There was also a piece of legislation that said that we were going to allow the creation of new embryos, new human life, for the purpose of experimentation, and ultimately we would kill those embryos. I vetoed that. There are things you can do as a president or as a governor or as a legislator that protect the sanctity of life, and I will do those things. I will also appoint justices who believe in following the Constitution, like Justice Roberts and Alito and Thomas and Scalia. I hope that those justices, in reviewing the judicial history of Roe v. Wade, will decide that Roe v. Wade was improperly concluded and that they will return to the states the responsibility for matters relating to abortion. In that case, I think we would see states come up with a very different conclusion than that which was reached by the U.S. Supreme Court. That's how I deal with that issue. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for coming today. I was recently reading an article online, and it's kind of newer, hasn't gotten much attention, but I was kind of concerned about it. It's an idea by Congressman Jim Cooper to turn over tax returns to the IRS and Obama and have them doing it, and it makes me kind of nervous because then we would have to trust them to give us the correct credits and returns. So I was wondering what your idea was on that. Well, I was reading online, and it was we would give the IRS the opportunity to do our tax returns and a new policy to do that. So I was kind of concerned about that.
H&R Block wouldn't be very happy, would they? The idea of giving to the government all of our information and letting them fill out our taxes for us, that I'm not sure I'm enthusiastic about that idea. I haven't seen it yet and haven't given it much thought, so I won't react definitively, but the IRS already knows too much. I'm not sure I want them to know a lot more. We all pay, well, we should be paying our fair and full taxes, and for me, I trust the people in the private sector to help us fill out our taxes. For a lot of folks, by the way, the hardest part of taxes, for many people, is this, you have an investment in a mutual fund, let's say, and then they buy and sell things. The mutual fund does, you're nodding your head, they buy and then they tell you, okay, here's the tax implication of all that. And you just go, oh my goodness, your basis in this fund was this, and now you have this gain. It's very complicated. These capital gains and interest and dividends are very complicated. If for middle income Americans, there's no tax on savings, that dramatically simplifies your tax. Now you basically look at what your income is from wages and tips and the like, rental income and so forth, and that's basically it that you determine your tax by. So if you have the simplification I described, we wouldn't need the IRS or even H&R Block to fill out our taxes for us. Thank you.